Alright, so you remember my mechanical pencil videos. Here, I think I'm going to take a different route and just show you a few of my Woodcase pencils. Now, I already showed you the history of Eagle, Barrel, Sanford, and Papermate. But here I just have some vintage pencils that, in no particular order, I'd like to show to YouTube and my fellow YouTubers. Over here, we've got a box of Aberhart Faber Mongol pencils, as you can see. They were very, very popular throughout their lifetime, and unfortunately, they stopped making them in America a while ago. But all is not lost, because these pencils are actually pretty plentiful. I found these at a garage sale. And here's one of them. It says over here, Aberhart Faber Mongol 492, number 2. And I am actually currently using one of these. Here, let me get it out of my pencil case real quick. Right over here. Alright, so if I can open this with one hand and get the pencil out. Okay. Here it is. I've been using it for a while, as you can see, and it's gotten a bit mangled by a combination of hand sharpening and electric sharpening, but it is a great pencil. If you can see the glistening on this finish here, it's just immaculate compared to, you know, your modern Papermate Classic or what have you. Alright. Funny story. This pencil actually came with that box in here. Somebody had put it in there as a joke, I guess. It says faber-castell, Columbus 1492. Now, I doubt I will ever see a pencil ever again named after an historic date. Wow. Okay. Moving right along. Over here we've got a box of Mephisto copying pencils from the company L&C Hardtmuth. Now, Hardtmuth, this company actually has gained fame, I guess, as opposed to infamy. Fame. There we go. Because of their Koh-i-Noor pencils. The Koh-i-Noor was actually the first pencil to be painted yellow. Because they were such high quality, everybody else started copying them. Now, with that vein, we've got some copying pencils. So, these pencils were actually invented before Xerox machines. The way they work is like this. The core is actually regular graphite with some aniline dye mixed in. What aniline dye does is, when it gets wet, it turns purple and will transfer to anything you place on top. So what they used to do is, in the days of these copying pencils, they would write the original in a copying pencil, and then moisten the surface, and put some very, very thin tissue paper over it. This way they would have a mirror image of whatever writing it was on the tissue paper. They would let it dry, and then read the actual writing through the other side of the tissue paper. These copying pencils are actually used very widely until about the 1960s. Because in 1959 the Xerox copier was invented. Now, if you could see here, it's got Made in USA, L&C Hardtmuth Mephisto copying. Another interesting thing about aniline dye is that it's actually a health hazard. It can cause cancer, actually, if you stab yourself with it. And it causes eczema, which is skin disease, if aniline dye is moistened and put on your skin. So you gotta be really careful. Here we've got an example that's made in Czechoslovakia. Don't know if you can see that very well because this focusing is kind of bad. And there's actually another one in here that's made in Austria. Let's see if I can get it. Here it is. You can see that it says made by L&C Hardtmuth in Austria. Alright. Well, that's the Mephisto copying pencils for you. Here I've got a pack of quality pencils. Now, actually, they're Educators Oakton pencils. I guess these were sold to schools directly. But, you know, it's just your basic yellow pencil. Now, I was in my drafting classroom, and they were getting rid of a whole bunch of old stuff. Among other things, I got this box of Staedtler Mars non-photo blue pencils. Now these were actually used by animators back when, you know, pencils were used for animation. And the advantage of non-photo blue is that it doesn't show up on a photocopy of the image. So the animators could make adjustments to their drawings and not worry about it showing up on a photocopy. Here we got non-photo blue, Stedtler Mars, you know, your standard thing. Made in Germany, of course. These are, I think, from the 80s, judging by the box and the printing thereon. Over here, another interesting piece of history. The Faber-Castell 9000. Now, actually, this is before, or like, these pencils, not these particular pieces, but the model name dates to before the pencil company was called Faber-Castell. Similar to L&C Hardtmuth and their Kohinoor pencils, the A.W. Faber company actually, named its company after the Castell pencil because it was so popular. Now, this is actually after it was called Faber-Castell, but these pencils are named based on the old way. Over here we got Ave Faber, Castell. Got made in USA 9000, and they're 3B hardness. On the back side, I don't know if you can read it very well, but it says, leads imported from American Zone, Germany. The reason why the pencils were made in America, but the leads were imported, is because the tariff on German goods back in the days after World War II was so high that the higher labor cost making these pencils in America with imported German leads was actually cheaper than just importing the pencils from Germany. Hence, the leads were imported without the high tariff because they weren't finished goods, quote unquote, and they were assembled here. Later on, of course, the production was moved back to Germany, and stuff was the American pencils that American consumers bought were actually made in Germany, as opposed to, the German public buying German pencils and the American public buying American-made pencils from German lead. And now we've got a Stedtler Mars Lumograph pencil from, I think, about the 50s. Notice the left-hand print. It's got Mars Lumograph, Germany, J.S. Stadler right on the front. Stedtler, I guess. Yeah. And it's got 3H hardness. I got this one with a bunch of other pencils at a garage sale a while ago. Next up, we've got some Aberhart Faber Mongol pencils. They're actually American-made, and they're colored pencils. If you can see, this feels like it's got a very, very wide body, but it's actually not. It's got a metal cap. I've got two more of these over here. They're colored pencils. You can see the hand sharpening job done on this black one over here. Next, a couple of Wallace Invader pencils. I know almost nothing about these pencils other than the fact that they are, in fact, called Wallace Invader. They're made in USA, and they've got metal caps very, very similar to the ones on the Aberhart Fabers. And, of course, there's another Wallace pencil, the Wallace Motif. It's got yellow lead, and it's got a yellow body, which is pretty cool. Next up, we've got Venus Paradise pencils. I got two of these. They're normal colored pencils from a while ago. This one says photo brown. I guess the brown will show up in photocopies as opposed to non-photo brown, which I've never seen. And here we've got somebody who sharpened it the wrong way. Venus Paradise. I guess it's emerald something on the side. USA. Here we've got a random made in US black trail pencil. And over here we've got a grease pencil called the Blaisdell Cellophane. So named because I guess you can write on cellophane. And it's a grease pencil. Over here we got another pencil. I don't know what this is exactly, but it says by Blaisdell, so I just put it next to that one. And over here we got a couple of custom pencils. This one's for some company called Günther Brothers. Interesting enough, fertilizers and stuff like this. From Arlington Heights from a while ago. And we got a Jay's Potato Chip pencil stub from the Jay's Chip Company, if you remember them. Here we got a teacher's pencil. Apparently it says excellent work, if you can't really read that. And Thornton Heating Services Incorporated. Alright, enough of those. Here we got an Empire Integrity pencil, again hand sharpened. I found this one next to a typewriter case in a garage. And here's another Empire pencil called the Fairmount. Notice the vertical printing, and it's actually made of plastic, noted by the slight bendiness of the body and the pinkish quote-unquote wood color. And here we've got a bunch of Dixons, Ticonderogas actually. Here's some Ticonderogas. I've got these arranged in no particular order. These three over here, these three are relatively new, but they're from when they were still made in America. This one, I believe, is from during World War II because of the plastic ferrule. You know, metal was rationed for the war. And it's number 3, if you could see that printing right there. Over here we've got a Ticonderoga 1388-2. This is an older version, as you can tell by the printing. And here we have a number 3 version of the same thing. Notice the glintingness of the ferrule. Look at that sheen on that metal. It's just amazing. And the quality of the print. And we've got a Ticonderoga Tri-Write, which I've seen around. It's just interesting because it's got, you know, 3-point grip, triangle, you know, your standard triangular pencil. And now some vintage ones. We've got a Dixon Beginners, which is, you know, as the name implies, it's a beginner's pencil with a giant core and a giant body for little kids. The body's chipping, I guess, over here, so I guess wouldn't be so safe for little kids today. Here we've got the Dixon Blue Anadel. It says 1950 on it, but I doubt the year was 1950 when it came out. It's actually got blue lead, if you could see that. And it's a Dixon, you know. Over here we got a Dixon's Typhonite Eldorado. It's got that HB and the Dixon printing in true Art Deco form, so I'm guessing this pencil was originally made around the 20s to 40s. And on the back you've got, you know, very, very stylish, made in USA, HB again. I'm pretty sure this was a drawing pencil. If you notice the sharp angles on this hexagonal body, it's just so sharp. You know, I don't know what else to say. And it fits in your hand real nice, but it'll dig into your hand too if you write with it for too long. Really locks you into those 6 positions. Okay, and yeah, so here's, you know, those few vintage pencils I talked to you about. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more. Thanks.